All right, here's the last question. Do you think a sensory design can really increase your revenue? So we'll come back to the results of this in a little bit. But the next question is to Kun Win. If, for example, you're designing a sound experience for the hotel, but the hotel, once you go in, but the system that they have doesn't support what you're trying to do, what do you do in that case?
I mean, for me, I really have to, like, it's all about the concept, it's all about like what you want the design or you want experience to be. And I think it's very good if if we can work something on the equipment that they already have. It's always come like that first, but it's really depends. It's like chicken and egg there, like because like some of the venue that I worked with, have all the equipment, all the design, but it's just too much. Like you don't need all that. Why would you need all that? Like you are not. This is not a cinema, but they just have like everything there. But some place just have too little, and it doesn't really work. So I mean, it's really it all comes down to what do you want, like, and you need both. You need both content, and you need a right content, and you need a right equipment, technicality to support this. I mean, it's something that we really have to discuss and comes up with solution.
Okay. Kun Go, you have a question from one of the attendees today. Would you recommend having scent in the meeting room, or in the pre-function room, or in both? And should the scent be the same in both areas or different in both areas?
I think this question would come after I mean, first of all, we need to understand first what is the role of the fragrance or the scent first. Why do we need the scent to be there? Is it because we want to deliver the message? Something like what I said earlier, it's about the message or story that we want to tell, or it's about the emotions, the moods that we want to create for that part, or what is the objective? Then later this question will be addressed. Yeah, for example, if in one of the project that I did, there are two rooms that they want to set up the different moods. The first room, they want to get something like very exciting when coming in, and with the sound and visual and everything, they set up to make sure that when people get into this room, they feel like, oh, it's exciting mood that they want to deliver. Then after this first room, the next room, they want to get something that is more calming and trying to explore something. Then there would be another mood and message that they want to deliver. Then if this is the objective, the two scent is created or designed for the two rooms, for the different objective. So I think it's more about what would be the objective that we would like, or the fragrance or smell to play the role.
Okay, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Any tips on how companies can incorporate scent and sound to an event based on their brand identity?
If I may take it on the scent first, I would say that long time ago, just the example that to me is very interesting, because like in one of the company in Japan, they use scent to set the the scene that they want their employees or their workers to work hard. So they create and design the smell to be more like computer smell long time ago, like more than 10 years ago. So when the employees or workers can get that scent, oh my God, now I need to work. So I think that is very weird, I would say, example. But of course, in I think in one of the place, if we want to get a uniqueness, a character, or the key message of that place, we can create it and design it for the ambience. However, I do agree with Kun Win earlier that the silence is also important, and it's not just only for sound but also for scent as well. We may not need to have like scent for everywhere. There would be an area that it could be neutral or nude, I would say. Or even sometimes we just make it like even the scent that we can create to be more watery, more airy. It's not just only by having a very strong flower, fruity or whatever. It can be the mood or the sensation as well, that you want to make it tingling. You want to make it like more sensation. So most of the time when we get this kind of scent design, people will come and ask what kind of flower, what kind of fruity note, what kind of perfume that we want to do it. But we can think of the scent and the smell of nature, the smell of something that is neutral, something that makes you feel calm. When we're talking about spa, we don't need to think only for the, I would say like the กลิ่นตะไคร้ like the lemongrass always. We can have something else.
Yeah.
Kun Win, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean it, like yes, it can. I mean, if you are, for example, if when speaking of brand identity, like if, for example, if your company is young and it is very vibrant, energetic, like of course it can, we can incorporate that kind of sound of that characters, that whenever you have a company party or events or something, like you can have jingles of your own, and you can have a playlist of something that very energetic, very motivated. Or is it like more often a very premium, I mean, if you are a very premium company, and like, so anything that when associating the company, or when you have like seminar, meeting, or travels, or anything, you can have your brand identity, your brand DNA by incorporating music or sound that kind of like highlights that very luxury feelings, like sense of very kind of delicate. But yes, of course, I mean, definitely, like all these I think all these senses really represents identity. It's it's, I mean, I'm sure that everyone has like their favorite playlist, like, and it represents who you are in a way. So of course, definitely, I would say yes. But it really depends on how hard you want to push. You want it to be like very out there, or you want it to be like more subtle. It really depends on how you would like to incorporate that to your identity, and like how vocal are you, and like is it like going to be more subtle, or is it going to be out there, like, here I am, this is my identity, do you need to be that strong or not? It's really depend on you, actually.
and just want to build on Kun Win's point, especially in terms of the people in the party, for example. If we want to set up that kind of young mood, though our participant is a little bit like a little bit older, but you know, all the scent is about the memory, right?
Right.
So
Yes,
it's the
yes.
scent of the childhood, and we know that based on this childhood, it's all the scent of the candy, all the, you know, ice cream, you know, all this. And then when we have such a certain playlist that we want to create that kind of energetic mood or like bring back the childhood, scent and sound can work together and make sure that we can create that kind of ambience or environment. And I love the way Kun Win saying that if we work it in a very how to say harmony way, then it's not what you need to notice about it. It just be the feel of people, and it goes smoothly together. That's I think is is how sound and scent and even visual that is the strong sense now doing.
Just going on to that question, furthering on that question, like a lot of people, when you're designing a scent or music, a lot of people will have like allergy to scent, or they're sensitive to certain noises. How do you overcome these, and what plans you put in when you're planning your scent or sound?
Okay, this is always the question and challenge we have. And of course, the allergy is one thing that we need to be very, very careful. However, based on the experience and the work that we have done earlier, most of the time when we're talking about the allergy of the scent in particular, we learn that most of the time it comes from the alcohol. I'm talking physically first. Right? Physically that you feel like it's so bad, but it's more with the alcohol, because the intensity or the dosage of the fragrance oil that we use in the compound, like the fragrance itself, when we need to use it, it's very little. Most of in one bottle, for example, it's just only 5% of it, and then the 95% of that is the alcohol, for example. So physically, and especially when we spray it in the room or in the outdoor place, it's very little already. So yes, the risk is still there, but it's still very, very, how to say, small. So it is the low risk that we found. So if we believe that in all the things we do, that is the risk. In this case, it's the calculated risk that we believe is the low risk. Another thing is that if we're talking about the allergy, that would be more also with the emotion, that probably sometimes if you guys take the taxi, you open the taxi in Bangkok and you get that smell of the very cheap air freshener that they have, and you may feel that, oh, I'm sick, I have the motion sick right away, because you get that scent. So that would be because the intensity is very high in terms of the smell. And at the same time, there would be the certain memory that you related with or associated with, and that's why it's more emotionally. Yes, that is the risk, of course, but again, like what I said, it's calculated and considered as a low risk.
Yeah. Right. For me, I don't think that sounds, you know, like sound isn't that physical, isn't that too, it's not too aggressive. I would say that it's probably have a lot of things to do with emotion, and some certain sound may provoke that, but it is, you know, we can discuss this in a very, very detailed way, because it's really up to the concept. But I mean, what I can say is, okay, let's put it this way. I used to work on this project. It's for outdoor beer garden for hops. Whole garden just like next to the river in Kanapaya. And the thing is, you know, they wanted to create like this a very, you know, vibrant vibe, having concerts and singers and all the bands and everything and playlists, and it's, you know, a beer place, so it needs to be kind of loud. But the thing is, people around that, you know, there's condos and office building and everything, you know, around that area, and I just like, they just cannot have that volume high enough, you know. I mean, like if I could answer something that relate to this, it's, I mean, like, you've got to control, you know, the loudness of the venue, of the sound that you want, that won't irritate other people, you know, that, you know. So in that case, you know, what happened was I removed all big speakers, you know, and I replaced it with a very small speakers that can, you know, the sound just only travels to that certain area, but I order a lot of it in store all around the place. So it is very controlled, it is, you know, less harmful to other people outside of the venue, but at the same time it's still, you know, very, you know, it still can create a very good vibe in that beer garden, in that area. For example, you know, it can be applied into this kind of sense as well. But yeah, that's probably like, yeah, I don't know if it's related or not.
Yep.
I hope so.
I think, Kunwin, there's another question for you here as well.
Right.
For sound creation, do you recommend music with lyrics or more background music? And how do you overcome copyright issues?
Oh, right. Okay, so in two parts, right? First of all, it's really depend. If you're having a party, you know, and you like kind of like a sing-along vibe, you know, some if you want it to be very relatable and people, you know, like, oh, I know this song, and, you know, it's something that, you know, get people like moving, or sometimes, you know, like very, if it's, you know, when you have lyrics, if you have like a music track with vocals, then it will be more out there, you know, like people will listen to it, and because there has a lead vocal, and when you have lyrics in it, it's also really draws, you know, the ears, because it's not only the music, it has words as well. So if you want it to be really out there, really, you know, relatable, yeah, I would recommend like a song with lyrics. But if you want it to be more subtle, then I would recommend, you know, you probably use instrumentals, or, you know, like other kind of like background music. Would be more suitable. It's really depend on the concept and the design, after all. Okay, when it comes to the copyright issue, well, it is, you know, quite a lengthy discussion we can have. But anyway, so I will share my experience. So like in Bangkok, in here, right, we have a company called MPC, which look after all the copyrights from and the uses of music. So whenever I create a playlist, then I have to go and consult with them, and then, you know, and then the venue, for example, if I do a playlist for shopping mall, then the shopping mall has to contact MPC, you know, and along with me, and when I could create a playlist, I have to send it to them, and, you know, they would just approve on all this kind of playlist, and so the venue has to pay certain amount of money, you know, per year to be able to use the money, to be able to use the music. Sorry, excuse me. And this is how I solve this. But also, I would like to share with you that, you know, like nowadays, there are so many, you know, new upcoming kind of, especially, you know, like in background music, you know, there are so many new applications, so many new websites, for example, like Epidemic Sounds, you know, like, and even for Jukes, they have a lot of like these kind of music library. For example, if you want exotic kind of music, very Asian, and with like more beats, upbeat kind of, like these kind of very unique sound. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of like website there's a lot of like source material where you can find, and it has kind of like less copyright issue, because this library music, when you pay them like certain amount per year, and then you're allowed to use this kind of music. And yeah, so there are so many sources right now, like but you probably like need to keep updated with like the usage, and with all these kind of like companies, because the world is changing all the time, and copyright laws, and like the perception of what we see as playlists, it's kind of like progressing as well. So it's really like I think you should go online and keep update and look for this kind of music as well. Yeah, it's widely used now as well. Yeah.
Very good. There's a very interesting question that's posted here. Can a certain sound affect the experience of the scent?
I would say yes in a heartbeat. I mean, like when, for example, when Kun Shilda said something about jasmine, right, and kind of like give her sense of like her memory of her mother, and I would pretty much like feel the same. But when combining with for example, very like chilling, very distant Thai traditional music, it would probably convey to me to think of something ghostly, and of course it can create like
yes. Yeah.
I'm thinking like so having like reggae music and jasmine would probably not go together.
Definitely, like
or otherwise giving a different mood, who knows. Reggae and jasmine, who knows.
I mean it's really interesting that we have this talk, like I love to like work with the scent more, like
then we work together.
Yeah, we should like collaborate something together. I mean, like it's just amazing how when you talk about having like scent of candies, and when mixing with more modern young vibe of this like modern music, like what it could have happened, what it could be. It's just
exactly.
Like something that it would create a new thing, like it's just so interesting. Yeah. Yes, but to answer the question, yes, of course, I believe that's some sound.
I do agree.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this question comes, from one of our salespeople. They said that when most of the clients that they go visit are either companies or travel agencies. So I think the question, if I could rephrase this, is I think when they go visit clients and talk about their products and all, how are they able to bring sound and scent into the whole experience when visiting clients? For example, they go on a sales calls to visit clients, to give a product update on what's new about their hotels or thing. How are they able to bring the experience of the smell and the sound into it as well?
Okay, on the scent part, first of all, we need to have our own scent.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, if that is the company or the hotel or the restaurant or spa, at least we need to have our own scent that give the identity of our brand or our shops or our company already. I think that's the first thing. That give the certain brand image already. And to the point, I'm not sure that I'm going to address the right question or not. But to my understanding is that how we can deliver or get that scent in the pocket that we can take it together and then present to our consumer or client. Isn't it the question? If that is the case, if we have our own fragrance or what we are trying to do already, we can have very easy. We have it in either it's like the bottle, the perfume bottle, or we keep it in so many ways. We can spray it, we can keep it in the jar, like the small jar, and we put it as we put the cotton ball inside, and we drop the fragrance on top, and then we put the lid on, and then when we get to see the clients, we just open it or we spray. There are so many tools or ways of doing it. Yeah, very easy, simple.
Yeah.
Okay. For the sound, I mean, it can be something with the presentations, or but always remember that sometimes like silence is also a design as well. Sometimes silence is a virtue.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, if there's an opportunity, yes, of course, most definitely. But if there is not, then like silence is also a virtue, I would say.
So when they do incentive travel, it involves a lot of being on the road and traveling. In your opinion, how do we incorporate the scent and sound in transportation in order not to make the entire journey very dull and boring, and to make it more of an experience?
I think it's very similar way that we do it in the room or the place, because when we're traveling, if we're talking about the bus or the van, it's the same thing, that we can do it in a more air freshener way, that we keep spraying it, or we keep it like in the diffuser, reed diffuser, in that sense. It's more about, we want it to be like the certain time, or we want it to be continuous. Then we can select later what would be the best method to do that. For example, if we want just to make it at the certain period of time, then the spray would be the one. However, if we want to make it like at the background of it and make sure that is going to create the mood and feel, then it could be the continuous spreading, I mean, in terms of the scent, that we can use the room diffuser, for example.
Yeah, for me, I think it's really about like how do you want them to feel, like probably if you're on a bus and like if it's early morning and you want to like wake them up a little bit, and just to cheer up, then of course the music or some certain sound could be nice. Or if you want them to relax, then of course we can have some certain playlist that is not too distracting, and can be like in a certain levels that it's not too harsh, and or maybe use a sound design in a way, using background kind of sound effect, or something very subtle. It's really depend how you want the audience to feel actually, and I mean it's really very kind of it's kind of like very hospitalities in a way. For example, like when I do theater piece, like house music is always important. If I have like a show in let's say 7 p.m. show, I want to like warm the audience up. I want like them to relax and prepare for whatever things, and this is very important. I think this is the same principle to do with this as well. Sometimes if you are too tired from travel, like from abroad, on a plane, sometimes it is nice and to have a very kind of soothing sound on your journey. Yes.
Okay, just one last yes or no question before we head to the final poll. Do you think if incentive travel providers apply scent and sound into a program, it will increase their unique selling point and increase the value for customers?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I think for all that we've been talking, Kun Win or myself,
Yeah.
I think we believe in the power of sound and scent.
Yeah.
And if we look at the business, the hospitality, you can see that most of the time we just use it. Either it's just only 1 or 2 cents, or otherwise when they put together so many cents, but it's not going together in harmony. So if we decide the holistic experience and what we would like to deliver, and then based on that and having the certain design for different scents, but in the same way to deliver the same thing, I think that would definitely create the selling point, of course.
Yeah, that's definitely. Couldn't agree more. Yes, definitely.
Okay, perfect. Can we just get the results of the last poll? Do you think sensory design can really increase your revenue? 22% said yes for retail, but not for my business. 63% said yes, I think it's a different way to make a good impression. So that's good. So all our attendees today, please evaluate how much you like this session. Is there anything that we could improve on or anything you need further? Let us know. We will have the QR code up in a little bit. So we value your feedbacks. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank Kun Win and Kun Koi for being with us here today. I think this was one of the topics that I was really fond of, and I think it was really fun as well, because a lot of times we tend to forget like the small little things in life, which is, I think we take it for granted with the whole smell and sound thing. We think that, okay, it comes part of the experience, but I think what we learned today is how much we can enhance it and make both sound and scent part of the program, and to create a much better experience for guests. So thank you very much today. And everybody, as Kun Shut said, the next session is coming up soon. So stay tuned, and thank you very much. I hope you guys all have a great Friday and a great weekend ahead. Thank you very much again. Bye bye, Kap.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.